Shalom, Israel, and this is Heaven. I just wanted to make a quick video putting out a dream that I had today. In the afternoon, I believe, or towards sunset, I went back to sleep. And I had a dream that kind of struck me as maybe a sign, but I don't know if it's just some random dream. But I try to take a lot of my dreams as a sign from God because a lot of my dreams has been a sign for me in my life, and I believe it's from God. And like almost like my dreams and people's dreams are like forewarnings before something takes place. So, some dreams I thought was like hilarious and stupid ended up actually coming true. Some things I took as small because sometimes I have dreams, like, I guess, put in a weird way. And I guess God does that so you could remember the dream, or God gives you a meaningful dream, but He makes it to where you understand it, according to your own understanding and knowledge. And, you know, so sometimes I will have a dream that I don't really take too seriously, or sometimes it's funny to me at first, but then I realize that, okay, well, when a situation occurs, then usually the dream comes back to mind. I say, okay, well, this was this dream. I guess sometimes the dream is put a certain way. I don't know why, but maybe just for your own understanding, for you to remember when you wake up. I don't know. But that's why I take every dream serious, because sometimes the dream may seem like it's small, minute, it doesn't mean anything, but then it does, you know. For example, which is a silly example, but I had a dream a long time ago when I was younger, like I don't know how many years ago, probably around 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I don't know. But I had a dream that it's a stupid dream, but I had a dream that I was looking in the grass for some reason, and there was this plant, and on this plant it was like it sounds stupid, but it was such a dumb dream. It was like a alien head on a stick body, and it was creeping me out because the stick body had a bunch of legs, and it was holding on to the blade of grass. It was either a blade of grass or it was a plant. But now that I remember, and I think it was grass that it was holding on to, not a plant. And in the dream, it, like, I don't know, I wasn't really creeped out by it. I was just looking at it. And let's just say I woke up and I was like, okay, what would a dream mean of seeing an alien head with a stick body and like bug legs, like a bunch of legs, like a millipede or something, holding on to a blade of grass? Like, that's a dream I can't take serious. And I told, my sisters, and they laughed at it because it's just a dumb dream. But then it's strange. I believe, like, not that long after, like maybe just a couple of days after, I went outside and there was a plant next to our chicken coop. And that, the chickens that I personally used to feed and, take care of all the time. And I went to there, and then I can't remember if I pointed it out or my sister pointed it out. But then it was a praying mantis hanging on to the plant. And then I was like, oh, this is my dream. Because when I looked at the body of it and then I looked at the head, I was like, I guess this alien head can, a praying mantis head can look like an alien head. It's just weird. You just don't put these things together, but then sometimes I'll be like, why does God put these, give you these dreams like this, like in parables or similitudes, but it's not that. So I don't take my dreams direct, because sometimes I have had dreams where, let's say, somebody got hurt and it was myself, or like a dream before that, oh, I my eye was shut closed, one of my eyes, and I couldn't open it. It was like, I don't know, it was almost like, I don't know, like I couldn't open it, like it was stuck closed, and I was talking to, one of my siblings in a dream, and I was trying so hard to open my eye, but I couldn't. It's like couldn't get it open. It was just one eye closed. And then, strange thing, just like it seemed like around 3 days later, go outside, and then inside of the bunny, we had a little cage for our rabbits. Go inside of their house, and you know, a bunny's freaking eye is shut closed, one of his eyes, and it had like gooey stuff around it because I think, if I remember correctly, he scratched his eye or one of the other bunnies scratched his eye and it ended up getting infected. And so we ended up getting his eye open, but his eye was like, let's just say he had a blind spot, and eventually I think he ended up either going blind or he couldn't see well out of that eye no more. And I was like, oh, this is my dream. But, your mind is not expecting it to be a rabbit. Your mind is not expecting it to be a praying mantis. It's just, I guess it's just how God does things, sometimes. Sometimes, like I say, my dream is like right on the mark. Where it's like, okay, this is exactly like my dream. And then sometimes usually it's off. So with the dream I'm about to say, I don't believe it has, anything to do with what's in the dream, but I believe each thing in the dream is symbolizing something. So, about to tell the dream. The dream was about, for some reason, I was watching some sort of news and it was on somebody that had died, but the person that had died was a part of a gang, and he ended up dying. And it was like, it was showing, like, I guess the news reporters was interviewing his friends, and they were talking good about him, like, they missed him and stuff like that. And but they are all part of a gang. It was like thugs. And I was thinking to myself when I was watching it, I was like, he went to the fire, and pretty much so are they. Like, how can they say anything good about him when they know where he went? He just went to the fire. I mean, he died, but he went to the fire. And I was, watching it, and the dream changed to that it was showing all of him, like all of his friends, the guy who died, his friends, and they're all inside of this pet shop. And inside of it was these big, like, I don't know exactly how big iguanas get, but it was huge. Like, they had big heads, but it was big head green iguanas with like spikes on their necks. And they were like, how they're spiky around their neck. Yeah, it was big, huge green iguanas. And they were trying to pet the iguana, but the iguanas in the dream was frowning, upset, and angry. Like, I could see their emotion on their face, like the way they felt, and I knew that they felt like anger towards them, almost like they knew who they were, like they were corrupt and pretty much unclean, like they had an unclean spirit with them, and the iguanas were irritated at them, and so they started biting their hands. Even though the bite wasn't really affecting them, they would, like, put pretty much bite their whole hand in their mouth. And they had, like, for some reason in the dream, don't ask me why, but the iguanas had like visible, like, sharp teeth, like big sharp teeth, and it would just bite their hands. And I was in the dream, I was like, something told me, like, in the dream, like in my mind, it came to my mind that me seeing these iguanas, is a sign of something. But in the dream, I ended up brushing it off because I was like, okay, well, it's just iguanas, like. And so I forgot what happened after this, but it was something else I saw with iguanas again. The same thing. And then some told me, okay, this definitely is a sign. The green iguanas mean something. But I didn't know I was dreaming, I don't think. It was just coming to my head like that. And then the dream, like, switched up, like, to where, it changed to me, and I was looking through something old of mine, and my sister was there, and we were looking through something, I can't remember what. But anyways, I found two lizards because, well, before in my life, we used to keep pet lizards. But in the dream, these lizards was kind of unrecognizable to me. But it was like lizards that we had as a pet before. And one was big, and it resembled the iguana. Like, it probably was an iguana, but more like a desert iguana. But it had the spikes on the neck, just like the iguana. And then there was a smaller one, like a smaller normal lizard, or small desert iguana. And in the dream, they were supposed to have died like years ago, like when I was younger. Like, in the dream, I'm remembering like real life. Like, in real life, we haven't had iguanas for a long time, like years. And yeah, that's how I was looking at it in the dream. So I was like, okay, how is it still here, with us? Like, how is this in our stuff? It was like some old stuff I was looking through of ours. And so I decided to, you know, I don't know why, but their bodies was whole. It wasn't like they was like decayed or anything like that. They was dead, but they wasn't like decayed or bones or anything. So I just ended up grabbing them and taking them out. But when I picked them up, I was like, oh my God. I saw the biggest one's head moving like slowly, and then in the dream I was like, my sister buried these lizards and she didn't have a clue that they were still living. And so I set them I set them down on something, I think a table or something like that. And my sister came over there and she was looking at it, and I told her that, that these lizards weren't dead, right? And she was like, okay, something like, how is that possible? I can't remember fully what she said, but she was looking at them. And um then when I looked over, it was like they were moving even more. Like, they start seeming like the more that they was like sitting there, the more they started like becoming more alive, and they started moving like a whole lot. And then I was like, oh my God, these lizards weren't dead at all. And my mind was thinking to myself, like, it's a reptile thing. Like, I guess reptiles do live a long time, and they can, live without eating or drinking for a long time. And that's how I was taking it in my dream for some reason. Okay, and then let's say the dream changed again, which it did. It changed again, and I was making a video, and I was trying to figure out, because I was like writing it down, because a lot of times before I make the video I try to write down what I want to say so I can remember. So I was writing it down, and I was like, okay, I don't know how, because in a dream I was thinking to myself that the dead is coming back to life, but I don't know how to say it to them, which you guys. But I was in a dream. I was like, I don't know how to say it to them to make them understand that the dead is coming back to life. And then a voice came to me. When I was trying to think, a voice came to me and said that the lizards were a sign that the dead is coming back to life. That is the sign, pretty much. That is one of the signs. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Because I don't know, my mind was thinking, it's like, oh yeah, the lizards did just come back out of nowhere. They were dead for years, and then they just came to life. And I was like, that probably is a sign that the dead is coming back to life. But in the dream, I was like, how am I going to prove that to them? Because, people, who are not there to witness that, they're going to think you just got any old lizard and said, okay, they came back to life. And I was like, I don't know how to prove that, because I don't have footage of when they died. I don't have footage of when we buried them, or even when I just found them dead. And so I was trying to think of resolve of that, and then I woke up. But then my mind, I don't know, it keeps constantly bothering me and telling me, okay, this is a sign of something, but I don't know what. I don't know what iguanas mean. I don't know what lizard mean. I looked up the meaning of iguana, and it pretty much says like, I know one of the meanings says something like something bad is going to come. It could mean like something with, something being unclean, or, like unclean spirits or something like that. But I can't define the meaning of the iguanas. I can't define the meaning of the lizards besides what the voice told me. And so I settled on, okay, the lizards coming back to life means it's a sign of the dead coming back to life. And maybe it could be a sign to say, which I was working on a video of, but I haven't got it done yet. But hopefully, if God wills, I get it done so it could be more explained in detail how I want to say it, and maybe show some things that's going on that I want to show. But basically, I believe that, honestly, that the dead is being raised up. But I do have a questioning thought. Is it going to start with people, or is it just starting with animals first? Is it starting with things like that? And why? I was going to make a video about it, but pretty much the topic is on, does God start with the smaller things, for you to take it as a sign, to see if you're going to pay attention to it, to see if you're going to, brush it off and say, this is normal, because I noticed with different things with, the planet Hill and everything else, that sometimes you take things one way. Like when I think of going to the fire. I would never think of it being a planet in the sky. Usually I would just think the whole, the end of the world happens, the whole place gets destroyed, the whole earth, and then you just end up if you're going to the fire, you're just going to end up falling into the fire, just wild imaginations. But I'll never think that, okay, there's a literal planet hell in the sky. And so my mind is like, for it to be a planet, it's like God is making it normal to the human mind. Like something that will be normal to you, but at the same time, it's something that stands out to where it's a sign. And it is either, if you believe in God, whether you're going to take the sign or you're going to take what the news say, what science say, that, defies everything that God says. And pretty much they always blame it on something that they say, this happens every, once in a million years. And even though they haven't been here for a million years, but somehow they know. But yeah, I just wonder, does God put these things like this, like where to the human mind can understand, but at the same time, it's abnormal, So you can see the sign in it, whether you're going to believe the revelations of God saying that, okay, there is a hell. The revelations that the dead is going to be raised up, because Israel, some of Israel is going to be raised up and taken back to our homeland. And it says that. Hopefully I can make a video on all of this. But, it's either you're going to believe in revelations of God, or you're going to believe in the devil that's telling you that, this is happening, science is able to bring the dead back to life. All this crap that they always saying, it's starting to come back. When they say, okay, it's extinct, it died off, and now they see it again. All these rare animals or rare bugs, and then even bugs that they said was stuck in dead in tree sap, and when they got them out, they were alive. Like, how is that possible? But yeah, hopefully I can make a video on all of that. But my mind does believe with that okay, is God already doing that process, Even with video, I don't know if nobody remembers or if everyone watched it, but video that Rap the News made about the moving meat. I mean, meat jumping out of the plate. It, looking like it's pulsating like a heartbeat and moving, and it's disgusting. But it's like, is this somehow, let's hope not, but from things I've read and learned, they probably putting human inside of foods, inside of freaking restaurant places and meat. And it's coming back to life. But even if it's not, they say it's not human, it's animals coming back to life. And that's why the meat is jiggling and moving around, because how is it moving on its own? And they say, okay, this is normal, this just happens. But this is things that comes out of the freezer, like way later, and then all of a sudden, when it's thawed out, it starts moving. Why? It's like, it should be dead by then. Especially the video that Rap the News showed me about the fish, they running water on the frozen fish, and then it starts flopping and moving. Like, if this is not a sign, what is? A lot of crazy things are happening, worms falling out the sky, and they can blame it on, okay, or tornado came, and when it went out, it just rained the, worms. But no, I don't think it's no tornado. I don't think it's nothing like that. I believe it's a sign from God, and it's coming down from the heavens because it's a plague on these people. And I do believe the dead is coming back to life slowly. I just believe that God does it in a way to test the mind, whether you're going to believe God or you're going to believe the Gentiles. I believe God. I 100% believe the dead is coming back to life. And I hope, Israel, I can make the video to prove it. I'm working on it. Almost done with it. I just need to get finished with it, And I'm also working on another video. Hopefully I could get done, Shalom, Israel. Have a blessed day. This is it.